In this episode, we finished the front suspension. The original setup that I wanted to build is not going to work, but I have a cunning plan. So I've done it that way, so both holes are lined up, so the bolt should go straight through, like that. Okay, so what we've got going on here, we've got a top and bottom plate, and we've got a cardboard spacer. So it's just to give it millimetre of clearance, so that when I bolt this back in, it'll have just enough to move. So what happens now, so I set this spindle to the right angle, 15 degrees, and then after that's set, I just make arms that go from here out to the frame on both sides and down the bottom, front and back. There'll be an upright going between the two plates, and then another one going from the bottom up to the top here, and that. So those 6 pieces will give it all the strength it needs. It will be stuck at one angle. Just got to hope that I get it right. And just like that, I've got the first piece. Pretty happy with where that's sitting, so I'll tack him into place, double check that this is still in the right angle, and then make the next one. I'll make another piece to go off this side over to there. Now you saw when I cut it, I cut another one that was exactly the same length with the same angle on it, so that I've got that piece for the other side, because I want them to all be identical. Now, more pieces. Two down. So what we've done there is make a really fancy bracket. I haven't finished, there's still got to be one more bar that comes through here, but I've got to finish off the steering rack, which has to be shortened by about 30mm on each side, and then some new mounts made. Sockets are all different diameters and are really handy for drawing small radius. You can usually find one that's the right size. I think I might do the other side now. So I've put all this back together so that I can get some marks to align the other side so they're both identical. Now I've got this piece of angle sitting a millimetre in from the edge all the way around. So if I take that out, I'll just put a mark there. If I get him and clamp him on that side, line him up with that mark, and alright, so now that's set, I can just line him up with the corner of the table on the other side because I've built the chassis dead center. This is the reason why we haven't actually removed the chassis off the table yet. Also, if I put him there and bring that in, when I had that on there, that lined up with this mark. So what I did there is put a long straight rod through, marked a circle around it. So that's where this all lines up to, and then I squared the line through. Strangely enough, it ended up exactly 84mm from each direction from this corner. And because I made sure that the chassis is dead center, I can just draw that line on the other side and that gives me this point. And then when I had the hub in there, I could line it up with a mark I've put here, so then I can do the same on the other side. So I should be able to just clamp that hub to the bench and should be able to get it fairly close to this spot. So, see how I go. I've got my marks on the bench here, so I can drop the shaft through. That lines up pretty well. So that all lines up fairly well, so I'm just going to put a tack on the bottom of this rod. I can just start putting my bars in that I've already cut. So both sides are tacked up identical. I will still round off these ones to match. So I've got to undo the steering rack and then lift it up high enough for it to line up with the two hubs. Alright, so what I've done here is I've lifted up the steering rack 25mm so that the rack actually lines up with the rod ends. So then I can put this bottom bar in here wherever it fits. And then I'm going to shorten the steering rack by about 30mm and then redo these mounts and actually rotate it so that the steering shaft is actually back down where it was originally, if that makes sense. Now that I've got these hubs mounted up and finalised, that means we can cut the chassis off the table. But before I do that, I want to finalise all the welds that I can, because there's a few extra ones now, but I want to do as much welding on the chassis as I can while it's welded to the table so that it can't bend with the welds. While it's being held rigid, it's the best time to do it. Well, that just about does it for this. I'm happy I've got the front suspension done because that was, yeah. I'm going to keep going, finish off the welds. As always, customize everything.